أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Inshallah, we'll begin our class number 4 today. And I'd like to begin the class with a very important concept, inshallah, we'll learn today. And I am quite confident that by understanding this concept, you would have a great deal of understanding when you read the Quran or when you hear the recitation of the Quran. This concept will open up a lot of the doors for us in our understanding of the Quran, which is the primary objective of this course, inshallah. Today, we'll begin our class with a topic which is called particles of pulling, or al-haruful jarri. What is jar means? Jar means pulling down, right? If you recall, in our first class, we mentioned that any Quranic word can either be identified as either an ism, as a fail, or as a harf, right? And over the course of the past 3 classes or so, we have learned about few harufs. Harfu atfin, hamzatu istafham, which is also a harf. Most of the time, the harufs or the particles consist of harufu jarrin, particles of pulling down. On any page of Quran, when we open up and then we recite, we would find these hurufs as a preposition. And today we'll go through some of the examples in the Quran because we want to see the application of haruf jar, how they are applied in Quran. And once we understand these hurufs and then go back and apply this knowledge, it will make a lot of sense. It will make a lot of sense. That is why I consider this topic as to be one of the most important topics in book 1. So to begin with, what is huruf jar? Now let's go haruf jar one by one, and then I'm pretty sure you would recognize these hurufs when you recite the Quran. The first one is min. Min. What does that min means? From. It means from. An. An means about. Fi. Fi means in. Ka, like or similar to. Li, harf jar, for or to. Be, at, with, to or by. Be has a lot of the meanings. Allah, upon or on. Ila, to or towards. Hatta, until or till. And the last one is va. Now, we know va is harfu atfin, particle of conjunction. But va has another function. It can come or manifest itself as wawul qasam, or by oath. And we'll do some examples there. A lot of the examples, inshallah. Whenever these hurufs come in the Quran, they will always, always, and always be followed by a noun, an ism. Okay, so that's number one for us. For us to understand this tool, we need to understand that these huruf jarrin, haruf, they will always be followed by a noun, by an ism. And that ism or a noun will be in a majroor form. Will be in a majroor form. Now, what do we call this composition or this compound? First comes the harf jar, then comes the ism or the noun, and that ism will be majroor. So we call it harf jar, ism majroor, or jarun wa majroorun. Okay. Today, if you don't understand or don't memorize this term, don't worry about it. Because over the period of many months, we will be repeating jarun wa majroorun. And whenever we say jarun wa majroorun or harf jar ism majroor, you would immediately identify that what we are talking about is a harf jar and the ism that follows that harf jar, and then that would be in a majroor form. So this is just an introduction of harf jar or prepositions, huruful jarri. Let's see how this concept is applied in Quran, right? Let's take min, for example. From.
Just 1 second. There are many students who are waiting to log in, so we have to let them in. There are quite a few students.
Okay. So hopefully everybody is in now. We have admitted all. Jazakallah naam bhai. So we were talking about huruful jarri, preposition, the particle of pulling. When we say particle of pulling, that means it pulls down the ism that follows it into a majroor form. Noun by nature manifests itself in a marfu form. All the nouns, they are marfu in nature, but then depending on the role that they're playing in a sentence, they'll become mansoob or they'll become majroor. Now today, the noun is playing a role of ism majroor because they are being followed by harf jar or huruful jarri, the particles of pulling. The first example is min. What does that min means? From. Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, malikin nas, ilahin nas, min sharril waswasil khannas. What is min? Harf jar. After harf jar, what comes? What follows harf jar? Ism majroor. Sharri. Do you see? Sharri is majroor. Right? The next one. From the shar, waswasa of the khannas. The next one is an, about. Amma yatasa'alun anin naba'i al-azim. Anin naba'i, about the great news. Right? So that is your harf jar an, about. In both cases, you would notice that the harf jar is followed by an ism, and that ism is majroor. The next one is fi. Suratul Qadr. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadri. Right? Laylati, not laylatu. Laylati. Why laylati? Harf jar, ism majroor. Right? Now why? Why this particle is pulling down the ism that follows? Because this particle is an agent. It wants to create an association with the ism that follows it. And then in order to demonstrate that association with that noun, it brings in some changes to that noun so that it can demonstrate that I am an agent of change. Right? So now we can say inna anzalnahu fi laylati. Indeed, we have sent it down in the night of Qadr. In night of Qadr. I remember when we started our second session a few years ago, when we did this ayah, at least a couple of students came to me and they said, no, Naveed bhai. This is inna anzalnahu fi laylatul qadr. I said, no, it's laylatil qadr. And then they went back, they checked the Quran, and they came back and they said, yes. Because of the next ayah has laylatul qadr. Right? Because the next ayah has laylatul qadr. So these are some of the mistakes most of the time we make when we memorize the Quran, right? The next one is ka. What does that ka means? Ka means like or similar. Masaluhum, their example, kamasalil ladhi istawqada nara. Their example is like the example of the one who has lit the light or fire. Nara, fire. So ka, masali, you see, ka masali. Harf jar, ism majroor. Right? The next one is li. Li means for or to. Alhamdu lillahi, harf jar li, Allahi, isam majroor. All praises are for or belong to Allah. Right? Next one is harf jar bi, which means at, with, to, or by. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu sta'inu bis sabri was salat. Bis sabri, with sabr and salat, with patience and salat. Allah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin, ala Muhammadin. Harf jar, ism majroor. Law anzalna hazal Qur'ana ala jabalin. Not jabalun, jabalin. Why? Harf jar, ism majroor. So first thing what we're doing here is trying to understand whenever there is a harf jar that comes in, it would be followed by an ism which would be majroor in nature. And then we'll continue and build on this concept. Ila. Inna, indeed we. Ila Rabbi, not Rabbu, Rabbi. Rabbina munqalibun. We have to return to our Lord or towards our Lord. Rabbi, not Rabbu, Rabbi. Hatta, hatta matla'il fajr, right? Until the rising of the dawn. And the last one is Wawul Qasam. Wal Asr. Wal Asri. But we say Wal Asr, right? So this is an oath. Washamsi. Wal Qamari. Right? These are all the oath that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking in the Quran. So this is the vow of the oath. Now something I want to tell you, which you don't, if you don't remember, that's fine. Whenever there is an qasam, whenever you make an oath on something. So whenever there is an oath, qasam, there is always a jawabu qasam, which we will learn in book 3. So here, wal asri innal insana lafi khusr, this oath Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking, and there is an answer to that oath, which is a beautiful concept that we will learn in book 3. Just to let you know. So now we know the particle of pulling. Huruful jarri. Jarun wa majrurun. Harf jar, ism majrur. We'll leave these ayah here intact so that you can visualize them. What we need to do now is the last 10 surah of the Quran. In fact, these prepositions or these huruful jarri, they are on almost every page of Quran. So at least now we know their meanings, we know their function, we know they'll be followed by an ism or a noun, and that ism or noun is majroor in form. We know that, but especially the last 10 surah of the Quran, for this coming week, I would recommend you go back and then recite those 10 surahs and try to identify all the huruful jarri there. For example, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul a'udhu bi rabbi al-falak min sharri ma khalaq wa min sharri ghasiqin idha waqab wa min sharri an-naffasati fil 'uqad wa min sharri hasidin idha hasad. Right? So now our pondering of the Quran started. Then the next one is Wal Asr innal insana lafi khusrin. Right? Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, malikin nas, ilahin nas, min sharril waswasil khannas. Right? Min comes there. So my recommendation, because these are the surahs we usually recite in our salah, in the next 6 months we wanted to have at least good knowledge of what we are reciting in salah, and most of the time these last 10 surahs we recite in our salah. So whatever knowledge we are gaining, whatever tools we are learning, we should apply that knowledge or those tools to those, especially to those last 10 surahs, so that our concentration, our khushu and khuzu in salah will increase, because when we are standing there and reciting these surahs, we know what min means. We know what the words mean. We know how the sentence is is constructed or ayah is presented in Quran. So this is the general concept of Huruful Jar. Khalid bhai, you have a question.
So I was saying that in Bismillah Rahman Rahim, it start with
Yeah, harf jar. Yeah, B. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. B. Harf jar. Ismi. Ism majroor. So this is just a brief introduction of harf jar, ism majroor. What I'm going to write now here is a harf jar and an ism majroor. Alal maktabi. What is ala? Harf jar. What is ism majroor? Al maktabi, which means on the table or on the desk, right? The next one. Fil غرفتي. Fil غرفتي. Fi harf jar, al غرفتي ism majroor. What does that mean? In the room. In the room, right? When I say alal maktabi, fil غرفتي, when I say something alal maktabi, on the table, on the desk, then is it a sentence? It looks like a sentence, but it is not a sentence, right? Why? Because the subject is missing. You would be wondering, you're saying alal maktabi, on the desk. What is on the desk? Right? So it looks like a sentence, but it is not a sentence. It is a phrase. It is not a sentence, because a sentence would require a subject, right? Here the subject is absent. Now this is a phrase. It looks like a sentence, it's not a sentence. In Arabic terms we call it shibu jumla. Shibu jumla. Shibu jumla, it looks like a sentence. Shibu means mirror image or something alike. Shibu jumla. It looks like a sentence, but it's not a sentence. When I say fil ghurfati, in the room, then you be wondering who is in the room? What is in the room? Right? It doesn't make complete sense. It's a phrase, shibu jumla. So when I say fil ghurfati, jarun wa majrurun, shibu jumla. That's how I would explain it in Arabic. Jarun wa majrurun is a majrur, shibu jumla, a phrase. Let's call it a phrase. Jarun wa majrurun, shibu jumla. Now, to make a complete sense of this phrase, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? I have to bring in a subject. I need to bring a subject. Alal maktabi. Right? So I need to bring the mubtada. What do we know about mubtada? Mubtada is definite, and mubtada is marfu, right? So if I bring a mubtada al-qalamu, al-qalamu, is this a sentence now?
yeah.
Yes. The pen is on the desk or on the table. The pen is on the table. Now it is a sentence. Now there is no ambiguity left. We have the subject and we have jarun wa majrurun shibu jumla. Shibu jumla means phrase. Remember? I think in class number 2, I mentioned that jumla ismiya or a nominal sentence has 5 types of khabars. 5 types of khabars, correct? And then in lesson number 1 and 2, we learned about the first type, which was al-mufrid. What is al-mufrid? When it's a one word, then it is indefinite and it is marfu, right? Today we are learning about the second type of khabar, which is jarun wa majrurun shibu jumla. Jarun wa majrurun shibu jumla. Al-qalamu is your mubtada. Jarun wa majrurun shibu jumla khabar, predicate. Fil ghurfati is a phrase, shibu jumla. What do I need to do to make it a complete sentence? Bring in a mubtada, and the mubtada is definite and it is marfu. So who we want to be in the room? Al-waladu, a boy, right? Al-waladu, the boy is in the room. This is the second type of khabar we are learning today. Jarun wa majrurun shibu jumla khabar. Shibu jumla khabar. This is the second type of khabar, right? So when I say alhamdu, what is it? Mubtada. Where is the khabar? Where is the khabar? Lillahi. All praises, and then your mind is wondering, all praises for whom? You say li, for Allahi, for Allah. All praises are for Allah. This is your khabar. So we say jarun wa majrurun shibu jumla khabar, right? Shibu jumla khabar. So this is your jumla ismiya, right? In Quran, you would see jarun wa majrurun in many places. In many places. Now, jar wa majroor is a second type of khabar, but it can come in jumla failure as well. This is what we are going to learn in lesson number 4. In lesson number 4, Dr. Saab is teaching us about the concept of huruful jarri, particle of pulling down. And what does particle of pulling down? Let's call it agent of change. It wants to associate itself with the ism and wanted to give it real meanings to the noun that follows it. When I say al-ghurfatu alone, the room, fi will come in and say, I wanted to give it more meaning to al-ghurfatu. I would wanted to call it in the room and attach itself to this ism. But in order to show the association with this ism, it will make a change in that ism. It will make that change majroor. So now we know that it's a compound. Jarun wa majrurun shibu jumla khabar. I'll stop here to see if there are any questions.
There are some people having difficulties. They're trying to log in. Are there any people who are requesting?
I think we're good.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think we're good.
There are no questions.
And there are no questions or comments. So, like I said, the recommendation we have is to concentrate on your salah. To concentrate right now on our salah. And the surahs that we usually recite in salah, whatever tools we are learning here, apply those tools so that our concentration, the khushu and khuzu in salah will increase. Now, the next section of our agenda is to finish the tamareen or the exercises in lesson number 3. Before we begin, let's go to page number 19. Page number 19 of the book. Al-Huruful Qamariya wa Huruful Shamsiya. The moon letters and the sun letters. This is not a grammatical concept. This is more like a tajweed concept. But I think Dr. Saab is bringing in this concept because from now on, the nouns beginning with either the moon letters or either beginning with the sun letters will be joined with different hurufs, right? And he just wanted to show us if the noun is from moon letters or the sun letters and they have an al attached to them, the pronunciation would be a bit different. On the right hand side, al-huruful qamariya, the moon letters. Let's go over them. The first one is Hamza, al-abu. Now just watch. Al-babu, al-jannatu, al-himaru, al-khubzu, al-ainu. Right? What am I doing? What am I doing? I am properly saying the particle al here. I'm properly saying the particle al here. Al-ainu, al-ghadau, al-famu, all of them al. And the second one, on the left hand side, huruful shamsiya. Right? Huruful shamsiya. The sun letters. The first one is at-tajiru, at-tajiru, al-thawbu, ad-diku. Am I saying the lam sound of the al? No, I'm not. I'm using the first one, Hamza, and then I'm omitting the lam sound. These are the sun letters. I don't pronunciate the lam sound here. Al-dhahabu, al-rajalu, al-zahratu, flower. How do I differentiate between the moon letters and the sun letters? You see, all the sun letters have the shadda on them. They all have the shadda on them. That is, when the al comes, they will have the shadda on them. So that's one differentiation between the moon letters and the sun letters, right? Now, let's bring a particle here. Let's bring a particle here in the beginning of these nouns and see how we will pronunciate them. So the first one is al-abu. Bring particle of conjunction, harfu atfin. Wow. What do I say? Wal babu, wal abu, wal jannatu, wal himaru. Now I am omitting the hamza sound here. I'm going directly into the lam sound. Right? Al khubzu, al ainu, wal ghadau, wal famu, wal qamaru, wal kalbu, So when a particle comes in the beginning of the moon letters, we will omit the Hamza sound. We will join the particle with the Lam sound. What do we call this Hamza? This is called Hamzatul Wasal, Hamza of assimilation. This is more like a tajweed concept. This is not a grammatical concept. But I think Dr. Saab is bringing it in because now, going forward, we would be joining the particles with the nouns. And we would come across the moon letters and the sun letters, right? So in order to do that, he just wanted us to properly understand how to join those hurufs or particles with these nouns. Wal kalbu, wal ma'u, wal waladu. So when the particle comes in with the moon letters, the Hamza or the Hamza of assimilation, Hamzatul Wasal, is not pronounced. In the sun letters, let's bring the particle of conjunction, harfu atfin, again. Wattajiru, wathawbu, waddiku. Now the entire al sound is omitted, right? Wazzahabu, warrajalu. So this is the difference between the sun letters and the moon letters. Wazzaharatu, wassamaku, the fish. Washamsu. So in the sun letters, when the particle comes in the beginning of the noun, the al sound is omitted. That's all. That's all it is to it. This is not a grammar concept, this is a tajweed concept, but I think it's important for us to understand and know about it. Now let's begin the tamarin, the exercises for lesson number 3, starting from page 15. Starting from page 15. The first one is Iqra waktub ma'a dabti awakhir al-kalamati. Read and write with proper vowel sign in the end. Now, we have learned this too. It should be easy for us, right? It should be easy for us to differentiate between the dun, dan and din sound. Marfu, mansub and majroor sound, right? Here we are only dealing with the marfu sound. But sometime we will write the tanween with a dhamma, or sometime we will do it with a single dhamma. Let's begin with the first one. Masjidun. Masjidun, because it's indefinite, right? The next one is al-masjidu. Why do? Because the particle al came in. Remember, we said whenever we have to change an indefinite noun into a definite noun, we will bring in the particle al, and the tanween is gone, and we will bring in the single dhamma. So we say al-masjidu. Now write it down. Write it down. This is going to strengthen your knowledge. Next one is al-ma'u. The next one is ma'un, tanween, because there is no al there. It's indefinite. The first one, al-ma'u, is definite. Al-baytu, ba-bun, qala-mun, al-qala-mu. Write it down. Write down all the vowel sign, the fatha and the dhamma sign, like qalamun, write the fatha and the tanween sign. Al-kalbu, kalbun, qamisun, waladun, al-hajaru, al-waladu, himarun, al-himaru, al-hisanu, hisanun. This is easy, but important for us to, Dr. Saab is saying read and write. So we have to write the vowel signs, proper ending sounds. The next exercise is Ikra Waktub. Al Maktabu Maksurun. Is it a Jumla Ismiya, a nominal sentence? Yes, it is. Where is the Muktada? Al Maktabu. Maksurun is your predicate, khabar. What kind of khabar is it? Mufrid, one word. What kind of khabar is it? Maksurun, one word. It is indefinite and marfu. Now, today we learned about jarun wa majrurun, shibu jumla, khabar, right? So let's say if I want to say al maktabu, the desk is in the room. So what do? I'll say al maktabu fil ghurfati. Now this is the second type of khabar. The desk is in the room. Jarun wa majrurun, shibu jumla, phrase, khabar or predicate. Khabar means, so this is how we say jarun wa majrurun, shibu jumla, khabar. If you remember jar majrur, that is enough. Don't worry about shibu jumla, don't worry about khabar if you have hard time memorizing this concept. Over the period of time, we'll get used to it. Over the period of time, we'll get used to it. Right now, just say jarun wa majrurun. Khabar. Jarun wa majrurun khabar. This is our second type of khabar. The next one is al mudarri su jadidun. The teacher is new. Al qamisu wasikhun. Right? Al qamisu wasikhun. The shirt is dirty. Al-labanu baridun. They're all nominal sentences. They're all jumla ismiya. And they're very easy. Al-labanu baridun. The milk is cold. Al-masjidu maftuhun. Al-masjidu maftuhun. The masjid is open. Al-hajaru kabirun. Al-hajaru kabirun. The stone is big. Now, al-labanu baridun. The milk is cold. Va harf atf. Al-ma'u harun. How do I say? Is this a sun letter or is this a moon letter? This is a moon letter. So I will say al-labanu baridun wal ma'u harun. Right? The next one is al-muhandisu jalisu or jalisun. Jalisun, because there is no al here. Al-muhandisu jalisun wal mudarrisu waqifun. The engineer is sitting and the teacher is standing. Al-qamaru ba'idun. The moon is far. Al-mundilun nazifun. Al-mindilu nazifun. The handkerchief is clean. So what we're trying to do here, and we have already learned this tool and this topic, we are trying to identify a definite noun and an indefinite noun in a jumla ismiya. The first one is subject, which is your definite noun, and the second one is your predicate khabar, which is a indefinite noun. The indefinite noun will have the tanween sound with a dhamma, and the subject, which is a definite noun, will have the al with a single dhamma. That's all we're doing. So write it down. Number 3. Here Dr. Saab is giving us 6 options. Jamilun, wasikhun, maftuhun, harun, saqilun and khafifun. What is jamilun means? Beautiful. Wasikhun means dirty. Maftuhun means open. Harun means hot. Saqilun means heavy. Khafifun means light in weight, right? So Dr. Saab is giving us 6 options, and then we have to match these 6 options to the subject or mubtada in the next 6 jumla ismiya. So when I say al-hajaru, the stone, saqilun, saqilun. Let's put saqilun there. Write down saqilun there. Al-babu, maftuhun. Al-babu, maftuhun. The door is open. Al-qamaru, jamilun. Al-qamaru, jamilun. The moon is beautiful. Al-waraqu, khafifun, light in weight. The page is light in weight. Al-mindilu, wasikhun. Al-mindilu, wasikhun. The handkerchief is dirty. Al-labanu, harun. The milk is hot. Harun means hot. Baridun means cold. Ji Khalid bhai?
Is it yogurt? Laban.
We move on to exercise number 4 now. Now, it's the mirror image of exercise number 3. It's the mirror image. In exercise number 3, Dr. Saab gave us 6 options, and those 6 options qualified as the khabar because they were all indefinite in a jumla ismiya. Now in lesson number 4, he's twisting our mind and giving us the khabar already and want us to bring in the subject, the mubtada, right? Now the subject we know are definite in nature and they are marfu. So we have to think about, ponder about what kind of subject we will bring in. The first one is nazifun, right? The first one is nazifun. We'll bring in al-mindilu, right? Al-mindilu. The handkerchief is clean. Second one is maksurun. And we know from the lesson what is broken? Al-qalamu. Al-qalamu maksurun, right? So we say al-qalamu maksurun. The pen is broken. Al-qalamu. Now, al-qalamu, lam, is that a moon letter or is that a sun letter? It's a moon letter because if I bring waw, harf ataf, then I say wal qalamu. Number 3, baridun, something is cold. What is cold? You can say al-mau or you can say al-labanu, whatever you want to say, right? Number 4, qareebun, something is near. You can say al-baitu, you can say al-masjidu, but noun is not important. It has to be definite with a single dhamma because subjects are definite and marfu in nature. Ba'idun, something is far. Al-masjidu, ba'idun. Waqifun, somebody is standing. Who is standing? Al-mudarrisu, the teacher is standing. Jalisun, somebody is sitting. A student is sitting, so we say at-talibu, the student is sitting. Kabirun, something is big. You can say al-hajaru, the stone, or you can say al-baitu, or you can say al-masjidu, whatever you want to say. Qadimun, something is old. My book is old, so I say al-kitabu, qadimun. the book is old. Or you can say al-maktabu, the desk is old. Al-kursiyu, anything. Jadidun, something is new. You can say al-kursiyu, al-qalamu, al-maktabu, anything. So that brings us and to our exercise number 4. Al-kalimatul jadidatu. Al-qamaru, what does that mean? The moon. Jadidun, new, write it down. Qadimun, old. Wasikhun, dirty. Nazifun, clean. Harun, hot. Baridun, cold. Saghirun, small. Kabirun, big. Maftuhun, open. Maksurun, broken. Saqilun, heavy. Khafifun, light in weight. Jamilun, beautiful. Waqifun, standing. Jalisun, sitting. Right? So, a bit of a lesson about the vocabulary here, because these nouns will perhaps be repeated in the next few lessons. So we need to understand the meaning of these nouns. Now, so next one is najmun. Make it definite. Make najmun definite. It would be an najmu. Rajulun, man, or rajulu. Dikun, at diku. Talibun, at talibu. Right. So that is simple. We know this concept. Making from an indefinite noun to a definite noun. An-najmu ba'idun. The star is far. Ar-rajalu waqifun. The man is standing. As-sukkaru hulwun. Sugar is sweet. At-talibu maridun. The student is sick. Ad-diku jamilun. The rooster is beautiful. Ad-daftaru jadidun. Notebook is new. At-tajiru ghaniyun. The merchant is rich. Ad-dukkanu maftuhun. The shop is open. Al-waladu faqirun. The boy is poor. At-tuffahu lazizun. The apple is tasty. At-tabibu tawilun. The doctor is tall. Tawilun means tall. Wal mudarrisu qasirun. And the teacher is short. Qasirun. If you don't know the meanings, just write it down. Write it down on the book. The next tamarin is Iqra waktub ma'a dabti awakhir al-kalimati. Read and write with the correct ending, vowel ending in the end. Al-babu. Al-babu. At-tajiru. An-najmu. Al-qamaru. Ad-diku. Al-ma'u. As-sariru. Al-baytu. Al-masjidu. Al-rajulu. As-sukkaru. Al-waraku. Right? They're easy. And we know the meanings. Al-rajulu means the man. Ad-diku, the rooster. Al-ma'u, the water. As-sariru, the bed. Now the next exercise, fill in the blanks with suitable nouns. Ghaniyun, somebody is rich. Who's rich? At-tajiru. bring at-tajiru as a mubtada, as a subject. Hulwun, something is sweet. What is sweet? As-sukkaru, sugar is sweet. Maridun, somebody is sick. We say al-waladu, the boy, right? Al-waladu maridun. Or you can say al-rajalu, al-mudarrisu, whatever you want to say, but just pick up a definite noun because we are talking about the subject, the mubtada. At-tuffahu lazizun, right? The apple is tasty. Al-qamisu tawilun, the shirt is long. Or you can say ar-rajulu tawilun, the man is tall. The next one is kasirun, al-mudarrisu kasirun, at-tabibu kasirun, anybody is short. Next page, page number 18. Here Dr. Saab is giving us two columns, column A and column B. Now we have to make the column A and find a suitable khabar from column B. So column A is your subject, your mubtada, and column B is your khabar. So you can see on column A, on the right hand side, all the nouns are definite in nature. And on the left hand side column, all the nouns are indefinite. So when I say at-talibu, the student, not maksurun, he's not broken. Maridun, right? At-talibu maridun. Ad-dukkanu, the shop, maftuhun. So just make a line, just bring a line. At-tuffahu, the apple, lazizun. Al-ma'u, harun, the water is hot. Al-hajaru, saqilun. Al-hajaru, saqilun. Al-qalamu, maksurun, the pen is broken. Al-kalimatul jadidatu, hulwun, sweet. Maridun, sick. Ad-dukkanu, shop. Ghaniyun, rich. Tawilun, tall. Faqirun, poor. Qasirun, short. At-tuffahu, apple. Right? And the last page, page number 20, is what we need.
Page 19.
19, we already did that.
Okay.
The moon letters and the sun letters, we already did that. On page number 20, the last exercise is about the moon letters and the sun letters. Al-baytu, is it the moon letter or the sun letter? Moon letter, because there is no shadda there. Ad-diku, shadda, sun. Al-mudarrisu, al-babu, at-talibu, as-sukkaru, ad-daftaru, al-ahu, al-rasulu, al-wajhu, as-siddiqu, al-qur'anu, as-sawatu, al-ka'batu, al-rasu, the head, al-isba'u, as-sabuna, al-zufri, al-fajru, al-zuhru, al-asru, al-maghribu, al-isha'u. So by identifying if there is an al and there is a shadda there, we know that it will be a sun letter. But if there is no shadda there, it will be the moon letter. And Dr. Saab already told us, when we bring in a particle before the moon letters, then we don't pronunciate the hamzatul wasal, the hamza of assimilation. Will say wal babu, right? And for information, Arabic language has 28 letters, right? 14 of them are moon letters, and 14 of them are sun letters. Okay? Alif is not a letter. It doesn't have any sound. It only would have a sound when there is a hamza on top of it. So hamza is a letter, but alif is not a letter. It supports the hamza. Just for the information. Now this brings us to our lesson number 3. We will share the picture of this board on WhatsApp, inshallah, so that you will continue to work towards understanding the Quran. Because why are we learning these tools, grammar tools? Why? Because of this. Because we want to understand the Quran. And now, whatever we have learned so far, at least we should try and apply this knowledge in understanding the Quran. So I said, and I recommend it, go to the last 10 surah of the Quran and apply whatever we have learned so far. Why? Because these are the surahs we usually recite in Salah, and then once we know what we are saying in Salah, the concentration and the emotions in Salah will change, inshallah. So we'll end our lesson with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha laha ma kasabat wa alayha maktasabat rabbana la tu'akhizna in nasina aw akhtana rabbana la tuhammilna ma la taqata lana bihi wa'fu anna waghfir lana warhamna anta maulana fansurna ala al-qawmil kafirin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.